First, you should have your belief. When you have a belief, you have nothing to worry about. If you want to be respected, if you want to have a big heart, you should have LQ, the Q of love. So these three Qs are very important. You should have the Q of love, care others. If I got a chance, I tell them, it's not Jack Ma give you the opportunity, give you the job. It's you created the opportunity for yourself, for everybody. And nothing to fear, because we never thought about sneaking from tax. We never thought about doing illegal things. We never thought about, and we're not allowed to do that. What do you fear?
When I founded Alibaba in 1999, I never imagined that the company would get to where it is today. I was in my small apartment in Hangzhou, surrounded by 18 friends who shared the same vision. We believed that the internet had the power to transform China, and we weren't willing to give up without trying. With just $60,000, we built what would become one of the largest e-commerce platforms in the world. It wasn't easy, but the conviction that we were on the right track kept us afloat in difficult times. If you had told me in those days that Alibaba would be present in more than 240 countries, I would probably have laughed. Back then, all we knew was that the internet was changing the world, and we wanted China to be part of that transformation. The reality was that nobody gave us much chance of success, and I failed so many times before Alibaba took off that I could have given up. However, each failure was a valuable lesson, something that prepared me to face even greater challenges. What always guided me was the belief that big dreams start small. I knew that if we could help small businesses in China grow and connect to the world, we would succeed. The key was persistence and a willingness to learn from every mistake. We weren't experts, but we were passionate. And that passion led us to not only create a company, but to impact millions of lives around the world.
I think absolutely, internet is designed for developing countries. 19 years ago, when I started Alibaba, I think what we've said, we should focus on helping small companies, when the USA e-commerce focus on big companies. And the USA internet, that e-commerce company, they focus on cut the cost for the big companies. What we believe is that we should help small business to make money on the internet. Because don't teach customer how to cut the cost. They know better than you do. But helping small business to make the money, that is the key. So when we started, we found in China there's no internet, the connection, there's no payment, no logistics, and the small business cannot raise the money. So in the past 19 years, we said if there's no infrastructure of the marketplaces, so we should help small business to reach the market. A small business normally can sell only in their own town. How can we sell their products to the capital, to the other cities, to the other countries? Second is how we can help small business using internet to reach the money. So that is why we have the Alipay. How can we help in small business to reach logistics? They can deliver things quickly. So we help in building up a lot of logistic companies. And then how can we help small business to reach the training? So everything we do, we think, by using internet to support small business. And when people say, China, know this, know that, I think because of know this, know that, that leaves entrepreneurs like us the opportunity.
I still remember the first email I received from a buyer in the United States, interested in one of the products from a Chinese supplier. At that moment, I realized that we were opening a door that had previously seemed unreachable. It made me realize that we were just getting started, and that the world was about to connect in a way it never had before. It was then that I understood the potential of what we were building. Throughout the journey, I always kept in mind the importance of a clear purpose. I knew that Alibaba wasn't just a technology company. We were creating something bigger, a platform that would change the way the world did business. That's what motivated me to keep going, even when the going got tough. If you believe deeply in your vision, you will find the strength to overcome any obstacle And so began the story of Alibaba, a dream that was born small, but which, with hard work, resilience, and a clear purpose, became something much bigger than we could have imagined. Today, sharing this journey with you, I want you to understand that anything is possible when you have a vision and work with passion.
19 years, we never forget that we serve for small business. We serve for the girls, women. We serve for helping them reach market. This is how. And if we believe, one of the things, Jim, I was saying, the day when I started our business, 18 founders, me, and I talked to my 17 colleagues in my apartment. I say, guys, we don't have money, we don't have technology, we don't have any resources, any relationship. If Jack Ma and us, we can succeed, 70% of the people in the world, they can be successful. We have to prove that by working hard, believe in the future, believe in the vision, and day after day to improve ourselves, this thing works.
From the outset, I adopted a philosophy that for me is the basis of every successful business. Customer first, employees second, and shareholders third. This may seem counterintuitive. After all, many people think that shareholders should be the priority. However, I firmly believe that if we take good care of our customers and employees, the return to shareholders will be a natural consequence. When you put the customer at the center of your decisions, you create a company that has real value in the market. Prioritizing employees after customers reflects another conviction of mine. A happy and motivated team creates satisfied customers. When employees feel valued, when they feel that they are part of something bigger, they dedicate themselves much more energetically. At Alibaba, I've always tried to create an environment where everyone feels empowered to innovate, experiment, and yes, fail. An employee who works in a healthy environment delivers their best, and this has a direct impact on customer satisfaction. Over the years, I've realized that this approach generates consistent results. Many companies focus on short-term profit, trying only to please shareholders. But at Alibaba, we knew that sustainable growth would come from a solid foundation, built on exceptional customer service and creating an internal culture where employees could flourish. And the shareholders, they naturally benefit from a strong, thriving company that puts people first.
Let's try to encourage the entrepreneurships. It's not the government make business happen. It's the entrepreneurs that make the business happen. It's the entrepreneurs that they have their ideas and dreams. So helping them, empower them. These are the two. Of course, the third is education.
I remember a time when we faced a major challenge in customer service. We were in a phase of rapid growth, and there was enormous pressure to meet demand. I knew that if we put pressure on employees without giving them adequate support, quality would drop. So instead of increasing the pressure, we decided to invest in training and capacity building. The result? Employees felt valued and were able to offer even better service to our customers. This brings me to another crucial point in my work philosophy: trust. Trust is the basis of everything. I trust my team to do the right thing, and they trust me to provide the necessary tools and support. When you establish this trust, not only internally but also with your clients, you build something lasting. That's the kind of company I've always wanted to lead, a company that solves people's real problems. And of course, this leads to a vision of the future. For me, a company that genuinely cares about its employees and customers is prepared to face any challenge. When people are at the heart of the business, success is a natural consequence. So we continue to grow and create global impact, always guided by this simple but powerful working philosophy.
First, you should have your belief. When you have a belief, you have nothing to worry about. You don't fear. Right? If you don't have a belief, the VC said, if you do this, you're going to raising money. Then you're in trouble. So what you have to believe is what kind of value you bring to the customer. I'm a believer, and I go anywhere say this. The Wall Street don't like this, but I go to Wall Street. When I raise money, I said, customer number one, employee number two, shareholder number three.
When I founded Alibaba, I never imagined that we would become one of the largest e-commerce platforms in the world, present in more than 240 countries. Back then, our vision was clear: to use the internet to facilitate trade and connect small businesses to the global market. But like everything that starts small, we faced huge challenges. What kept us going was the unshakable belief that we were on the right track, creating something that would have a profound and lasting impact. Alibaba grew exponentially because we always believed that the internet would be the future of business. Many didn't believe in the potential of e-commerce, especially in China, where most merchants still relied on face-to-face relationships to do business. However, our vision was to build a platform that would break down these barriers and offer opportunities for everyone. And so we grew with the mindset that we were building something for the future, not just for the present. This growth didn't happen overnight. It took years to earn the trust of our users. We had to create a secure, reliable payment structure that would make online commerce viable. Many people thought it was impossible, but by focusing on building trust between buyers and sellers, we were able to overcome the odds. It was this focus on solving our customers' problems that helped us expand from a small Hangzhou-based company to a global giant. But it wasn't just technology that drove our growth. It was our dedication to helping small and medium-sized businesses thrive. From the start, we knew that if these companies grew, we would grow with them. Alibaba became an ecosystem in which entrepreneurs from all over the world could find a global market for their products. And this global vision has allowed us to expand far beyond China, reaching markets all over the world.
When you have a high EQ, people love to work with you. But if you have a terrible IQ, you will lose quickly. Because you are so stupid, you don't know how to, right? But
You'll get along with each other, but you're so stupid you'll fail.
That's right, because a lot of people succeed because of luck. Believe it or not, a lot of people, because I think I'm lucky enough, for the past 20 years as a teacher, I work and make a lot of mistakes and change, improving and correct mistakes. I survive. I don't think I'll be lucky enough because my IQ can never compare with my colleagues. They are much smarter. IQ can make you lose slowly. EQ can make you find good people working with the people. But if you want to be respected, if you want to have a big heart, you should have LQ, the Q of love. So these three Qs are very important. You should have the Q of love, care others. You should have the EQ, work with the others. You should have IQ, you know what you are doing. Based on that, and then giving times, things will happen.
Today, Alibaba is not just an e-commerce platform. We are a force driving the global digital economy. From online commerce to financial services and cloud technology, our impact goes beyond just connecting sellers and buyers. We create an ecosystem where innovation is constant and where opportunities for small businesses flourish on a scale we never imagined at the outset. Looking to the future, I believe we're only just getting started. The world is constantly changing, and the opportunities to continue innovating are endless. At Alibaba, we remain committed to using technology to create value and solve the biggest challenges facing global commerce. This is the essence of our growth, a growth that will never be just about numbers, but about the positive impact we can make on people's lives around the world. From the outset, Alibaba's focus has always been on supporting small and medium-sized enterprises. When we started, we knew that the future of the global economy would not just be dominated by large corporations, but driven by small entrepreneurs who innovate and create jobs. I always believed that if we could provide the right tools for these companies, they would not only survive, but thrive. Our goal was clear: to make commerce more accessible for everyone, regardless of the size of the company. When I looked around in China, I realized that small and medium-sized businesses faced huge barriers to competing in a global market. Lack of infrastructure and difficulty accessing capital were just some of the challenges. The internet, however, has opened up a new window of opportunity. And that's what motivated us to create a platform that would connect these companies with the world. We wanted them to be able to compete on an equal footing with large corporations without being limited by geographical boundaries or size. Looking back, I see that it was our obsession with solving these companies' problems that led us to success. Large corporations already had their systems in place, but small businesses needed something simpler, more direct, and above all, accessible.
If I got a chance to tell them, it's not Jack Ma give you the opportunity, give you the job. It's you created the opportunity for yourself, for everybody. And nothing to fear, because we never thought about sneaking from tax. We never thought about doing illegal things. We never thought about, and we're not allowed to do that. What do you fear?
That's why we focused on creating a platform that not only facilitated online commerce, but was a real growth engine for these entrepreneurs. We believe that by helping them, we are also helping to build a fairer and more balanced economy. This focus on small and medium-sized businesses has also shaped our mentality. Whenever we made a decision at Alibaba, we asked ourselves, will this benefit small businesses? If the answer was yes, we knew we were on the right track. And so, over the years, we've created an ecosystem that empowers these businesses, giving them the tools they need to grow and thrive. This is what has made Alibaba more than just an e-commerce platform. We have become a business partner for millions of entrepreneurs around the world. I believe one of the biggest lessons I've learned is that when you help others succeed, success inevitably comes back to you. By focusing on small and medium-sized businesses, we realized that we were creating a much bigger impact than we had imagined. We were not only helping these companies to grow, but also positively impacting their communities, creating jobs, and promoting innovation in all sectors. In the end, Alibaba's success was never about being the biggest company. It has always been about making the biggest impact. By focusing on small and medium-sized businesses, we've been able to not only transform global commerce, but also create a brighter future for entrepreneurs in every corner of the world.
Yeah, there's no best people in the world. See, you have to hire the best people. There's no best people. The best people is always in your company. You train them to become the best. And I start to make a lot of mistakes when I raise my money. When you have money, you start to make mistakes. I think one day when I raised my first round of finance was $5 million. I hired a lot of vice president of multinational companies. One of the VP of marketing came to me. He gave me a proposal. He said, "Sir, this is our next year's marketing plan." I said, "Oh, $12 million. I only have $5 million. He said, "I've never done a business plan below $10 million. So I said, "All right, it's not his fault, it's my fault. It's a Boeing 747 engine. When you put into a tractor, the disaster comes." None of them are happy. So you have to hire the right people. So the people I choose, they have to be optimistic. Because as entrepreneur, if you're not optimistic, you're in trouble.
At the beginning of Alibaba, we knew that to be different, we needed a business model that not only attracted small and medium-sized businesses, but also created trust. Instead of going down the traditional route of charging transaction fees, we adopted a model based on membership fees. This meant that our customers only paid to be on the platform, but didn't have to worry about additional charges for each sale made. This was revolutionary, as many companies feared losing part of their profits to high fees. This model had a profound impact on the trust we built with our partners. By removing transaction fees, we were saying to them, "We want you to grow, and we will grow together." This created a sense of partnership, not just a vendor and platform relationship. Over time, we saw our customers thrive, and this reinforced our belief that the success of any business comes when you put the customer at the center of everything. When we chose the membership fee model, we were also thinking about the long term. We knew that for many small businesses, every penny counts, especially in the early stages. We wanted to be the platform that gave them the best chance of success without worrying about the viability of each transaction. This decision helped us build a solid foundation of trust, which was key to Alibaba's exponential growth. The innovation of our business model also came from our ability to listen to our customers. Many of the changes we've implemented over the years have been a direct result of the feedback we've received. When you listen carefully, you understand your customers' needs better and can offer solutions that really add value. In our case, we realized that simplicity and transparency were fundamental for our partners. And that's what we sought to deliver, constantly adjusting the model to meet their expectations. In addition, our focus has always been on creating a platform that is accessible to any type of company, regardless of size or location. Technology should be a bridge, not a barrier. With this model, we enabled millions of small Chinese and later global companies to access the world market without having to worry about financial obstacles or operational complexities. This innovative approach was one of the pillars that led to our success. By prioritizing building trust and transparency, we have created a strong and thriving business community. Our business model has not only facilitated online commerce, but has also fostered collaboration and mutual growth between entrepreneurs and Alibaba. And as I look to the future, I believe that this mindset will be the key to meeting the new challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. From the beginning of my journey, I learned that respect for people and their cultures is one of the most important factors for the success of any business. At Alibaba, we have always believed that understanding cultural differences and valuing people in their uniqueness would lead us to build stronger and longer-lasting relationships. Business isn't just about numbers, it's about human connections. And when you respect those on the other side, be they customers, employees, or partners, the basis of trust is strengthened. China, my homeland, is a country rich in traditions and culture. When we started Alibaba, we knew that to be successful in e-commerce, we would have to respect the traditions of buying and selling that have existed for centuries. We adapted our approaches to understand local business habits, which allowed us to build something that worked within the cultural context. When expanding to other countries, this same cultural sensitivity was essential to our global acceptance. One of the things I've always stood for is the equal treatment of our employees, regardless of their positions. At Alibaba, I've always believed that every person, whether a manager or a customer support operator, should be treated with dignity and respect.
As an entrepreneur, business people, you have to get used to be rejected. Why people should help you? People help you, that is very unusual. Right? Why people should help you? People don't help you, that is very usual. So as an entrepreneur, you have to get used to, well, you're rejected. As a salespeople, you go out, to sell something. You should tell yourself, today I go out to visit the 10 customers, they will all say no, which is usual, so you came back with happy. If you sold one of them, you're extremely happy, you're better than you think. So this is optimistic. And when I started my business, people don't want to join my company because they say, internet, I've never heard about a company called internet. There is a company doing internet. There's no even a word in a dictionary called internet. And the name Alibaba is so strange. Right? And this guy always fulfilled, never even got a job. They want to put a... So I said, guys, I tell to their wife, their parents, their husband, people who joining my company, our company, I'm sure no policeman will knock our door because we will do criminal things. I promise tax bureau will not come to our company because we try to sneak away. These are the things I promise everybody in the company and their family, that we will never do any criminal things or bad things to the society. And I will promise that everybody will have tough lives. I will never promise you will be rich, you will be successful, but if you work hard, something could happen.
Happy and valued employees create a healthy working environment, which in turn directly impacts the quality of service offered to customers. Our organizational culture has been shaped by this vision. And this is what has made us a company where people really want to work. Over the years, I've come to realize that success is not just about creating innovative products and services, but about creating a positive impact on people's lives. Every customer we serve, every small entrepreneur we help, every employee we promote, they all have a story. And at the heart of all these stories is respect for the individual. It's not just about selling something. It's about improving the lives of those who interact with our platform so that they too can have a positive impact on their communities. Respect for culture also translates into how we adapt to different international markets. When we expanded Alibaba to the world, we knew that we couldn't simply impose a uniform global business model. Each country, each region has its own particularities. Our global success has come from our ability to listen, learn, and adjust our operations according to local needs, while always respecting the customs and values of the people we work with. This principle of respect for culture and people is something I will carry with me forever. It has allowed us to grow, not just as a company, but as a community that values human connections in all their forms. And as we move into the future, this philosophy will continue to guide our actions, ensuring that Alibaba remains an example of how mutual respect can be the foundation for sustainable and meaningful success. Small and medium-sized enterprises have always been the beating heart of the global economy. They are responsible for creating jobs, fostering innovation, and driving economic development. When we founded Alibaba, our focus was always on supporting these companies because we knew that by helping them grow, we would be creating a more sustainable ecosystem. Small businesses are flexible, adaptable, and able to innovate in ways that large corporations often cannot. Over the years, Alibaba has become a bridge for these small and medium-sized businesses to expand their markets, both locally and globally. We have facilitated access to tools and resources so that they can compete at a level that previously seemed unattainable. Our mission was simple: to give these companies the tools they needed to thrive by helping them reach customers in every corner of the world. Today, I can proudly say that small businesses remain Alibaba's main focus. Our success is directly proportional to their success, and we continue to invest in solutions that make their operations more efficient and competitive. For me, it will always be about strengthening the base of the economy and ensuring that entrepreneurs around the world have the opportunities and support they need to realize their dreams. From a young age, I realized that knowledge would be the key to opening many doors. I learned English self-taught in Hangzhou, guiding tourists around the city. There were no formal schools where I could learn, so I threw myself into practice. Every tourist I met became an opportunity to learn something new, to expand my worldview and understand different cultures. That's how, little by little, I began to see the world in a more global way. Seeking knowledge goes beyond books or the classroom. It's about being open to what the world has to offer and being willing to learn from every experience. At Alibaba, we constantly encourage our team to always be learning because we believe that continuous learning is essential for innovation. Keeping up to date with trends and seeking out new knowledge is what keeps a company competitive in an ever-evolving global market. The lesson here is clear: never stop learning. The knowledge you acquire throughout your life shapes your decisions and is often what makes the difference between success and failure. In the business world, the ability to adapt and grow depends on your willingness to learn something new every day. It was this mindset that led me to create something great. And if you apply it to your life, you too can achieve success. The entrepreneurial journey is not a straight line. Over the years, I faced challenges that seemed insurmountable. But I've learned that resilience is the most valuable skill any leader or company can develop. The ability to get up after a fall and keep moving forward is what differentiates those who only dream from those who achieve. Resilience is not innate. It is built over time with every mistake and every obstacle. At Alibaba, we have faced countless challenges, from difficulties in raising capital to the lack of internet infrastructure in China in the late 90s. Many doubted that it would be possible to build an e-commerce empire in a country that, at the time, barely had any online users. But instead of giving up, we adapted. We created solutions to the problems that arose and reinvented ourselves when necessary. This ability to adapt allowed us to turn difficulties into opportunities. The key to success lies not in avoiding problems, but in knowing how to face them with resilience. You can't predict all the adversities you will encounter, but you can prepare yourself to deal with them in the best possible way. The true measure of success is the ability to adapt to each change without losing sight of your purpose. This principle of resilience and adaptation was and still is fundamental to Alibaba's growth and can be the same for anyone wishing to thrive in the midst of uncertainty. Innovation is not something that happens once. It is continuous. At Alibaba, I've always believed that innovation isn't about creating something new and stopping there. No, innovation is a never-ending process. If you want to survive and thrive in the business world, you need to keep innovating even when things are going well. Innovation, for me, has always been about solving problems. And that's what has kept us relevant in the global market. I remember saying to my team at the very beginning, if we don't change, the world will change without us. That thought motivated us to always be one step ahead. The internet has changed the way people buy, sell, and connect. However, in order to keep growing, we knew we couldn't stay stuck in yesterday's success. Innovation takes courage, and it often goes against what people expect. But that's what sets us apart, the willingness to challenge the status quo. One of our biggest challenges was adapting Alibaba to the mobile age. There were those who doubted that e-commerce could thrive on smartphones. But I've always said, let's not follow the market, let's lead it. And that's what we've done. Constantly innovating is not just a business strategy, it's a philosophy that everyone must adopt in order to remain competitive and relevant in a world that never stops evolving. We don't just build a company, we build a community. From the beginning of Alibaba, I always told my team that success would not be measured only by the number of sales or profits, but by the impact we create on the people around us. Connecting small businesses to consumers around the world isn't just about business. It's about creating a platform where trust and collaboration reign supreme. When you build a community, you're not selling products, you're offering opportunities. At Alibaba, we facilitate not only transactions, but also dreams. I used to say, if the customer trusts you, they come back. If the customer feels part of something bigger, they bring more people. That's what made our community so strong. And it's what keeps it growing today. And you know what's most interesting? This community goes beyond geographical barriers. Small and medium-sized businesses in China connect with customers in the United States, Europe, and anywhere in the world. This connection is the true value of building a community. It's a network of people who trust each other to grow and prosper, and that's what makes me most proud about Alibaba.
Young people are the hope. So for me, if I want to keep my hope, I spend time on the young people. And every young people, I try to tell them life is not easy. I try to tell them that you come here not to work, but to enjoy yourself. You have to enjoy the work you're doing. You have to believe the things you're doing. You have to like the people you're working together. But the other thing is, ask everybody, ask whether young people, old people, ask us 3 questions. I keep on asking myself these 3 questions in the past 5 years. What do you have? What do you want? And what do you will give up? A lot of people don't ask, what do you want to give up? Oh, what do you have? Yes, I have nothing. And what do you want? You have a lot of things. And what will you give up? Always think about these questions. And then you will be fearless, you will be optimistic, you will know what you want. And this is when you're going on that, you will never sort of get lost.
I have always believed that young people are the key to the future, both of our company and of the world. Youth has the power to dream big and do the impossible, I used to say. When we started at Alibaba, many of our employees were under 30, and this youthful energy is what has driven our innovation and growth. They're not afraid to make mistakes, and that courage to try new things is what turns the impossible into reality. At Alibaba, we never underestimate the value of young people. They bring a new perspective, a different vision, which can often be difficult for those who have been in the market for a long time to understand. If you want your company to survive and thrive, surround yourself with talented young people who see the world differently. This is how we have maintained our ability to adapt, changing along with new trends and market demands. Youth is not just a competitive advantage, it is the future of the global economy. If you invest in them, giving them the tools and freedom to create and innovate, you're not just building a company, but a sustainable future. They are the leaders of tomorrow. And if there's one thing I've learned along my journey, it's that young people always have something to teach those who are willing to listen. Since the beginning of my journey at Alibaba, I have always believed that a good leader is not one who knows everything, but one who knows how to inspire and develop others. A true leader is one who empowers their team to do what they thought was impossible, is a phrase I've always shared with my colleagues. Leadership is not about control, but about opening doors so that others can shine. During my early years at Alibaba, I realized that the best ideas didn't come from me, but from the people around me. Hire people who are better than you, I used to say. It's not about being the smartest in the room. It's about creating an environment where talent flourishes and innovation happens naturally. That, for me, is the true role of a leader, to foster growth and trust in the team. My vision of leadership is also deeply linked to humility and constant learning. As leaders, we can never stop learning. The world changes fast, and if we are not willing to listen, adapt, and evolve, we will be left behind. Leadership is, above all, about serving those around you, guiding them with a clear vision, and at the same time, allowing them to tread their own path. When I think about the future of e-commerce, I see a world in which people will have even more power of choice. The C2B, consumer to business business model, where consumers dictate their preferences and personalize what they want to buy, is the way forward. I've always believed that it's not the companies that change the market, it's the customers. Listening to consumers is essential, and the companies that manage to adapt to these demands will be the ones that thrive. At Alibaba, from the beginning, we have been ahead of the trends by understanding changes in consumer behavior. Technology is an ally in this transformation, but we need to remember that technological innovation is only valuable when it solves real problems. The future of e-commerce will be defined by how quickly companies can adjust to consumer expectations and create customized solutions for their needs. I firmly believe that the companies of the future will not just sell products, but experiences. They will be focused on building a long-term relationship with the consumer based on trust and personalization. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that trust is the most valuable asset in any transaction. The future is in the hands of consumers, and companies that understand this will always be one step ahead. Over the years, one thing has become clear to me. Success is not just about making money. In fact, money is just a byproduct of a job well done. True success lies in creating value for others. I've always believed that if you help small businesses grow, you'll grow with them. This is the principle that has always guided Alibaba and continues to be the driving force behind every decision we make. When I look back, I realize that the journey has been full of challenges, but also opportunities. Every failure was a lesson, and every victory a confirmation that we were on the right track. I believe that no matter how difficult the path, if you believe in your vision and are willing to persist, success will come. My mission has always been clear: to help small and medium-sized businesses thrive in an increasingly competitive world. My final message to you is simple. Don't be afraid to dream big. If I, an English teacher from a small town in China, managed to build one of the largest e-commerce platforms in the world, so can you. The difference between an ordinary person and a successful one is mindset. Keep your vision, work hard, and above all, create value for the people around you. That's what really matters.
Wow. Thank you, Jack. That's amazing. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much, Jack Ma.
Maybe you don't have solution, I don't have solution, but our young people have solution. We don't have solution today, future, we have a solution. So I think, again, trust our young people. I think before 12, music is important. Sports, teamwork is important. Painting is important. And I think make people like a people. We should not make people like a machine learning. Like a machines. They only absorb knowledge. They should try knowledge. I see a lot of people in this world have excellent knowledge, but they just don't know how to use it. Because you never know you will succeed or not until the day you die. You will check the balance. I'm too young to say I'm failed or successful. I'm trying all the time. But let me tell you, 35, I still worry about the future, and now I'm still worried about the future, but I know worry is not enough, and you have to try the future. I think internet is new to any government, so my job is to convincing, educate, work with the government, hear what they worry, and let them know what I worry. We kick eBay out of China. It's not government kick eBay out of China. Amazon was there 20 years ago. They were here today. I talked to Jeff Bezos like 10 years ago. I said, Jeff, you sent a lot of people coming to China. But these people make boss happy, not make the customer happy. You should send entrepreneurs coming to China, make people happy.
Throughout my life, I've always seen mistakes as lessons in disguise. I often say that mistakes are the best fertilizer for tomorrow's success. They not only teach us what not to do, but also show us that success doesn't happen overnight. When I founded Alibaba, everyone thought things would work out right from the start. But the truth is that we faced many problems. It's these challenges that have shaped who we are today. Every mistake made along the way has taught me something new. I firmly believe that if you don't learn from your mistakes, you can never achieve success. When Alibaba faced difficult times, I knew that as long as we didn't give up, we were on the right track. There were days when I thought about throwing everything away, but every stumble was a chance to get stronger. For me, failure isn't the end. It's just part of the process. And that's what I want people to understand. As long as you keep trying, you're still in the game. I've failed many times. I remember when I tried to get a job at KFC. Out of 24 applicants, I was the only one rejected. And that wasn't the only time. I was rejected from 30 jobs. Each of those rejections could have made me give up, but they didn't. I learned that failure is only final if you give up. And that's how I kept going. With every no, I knew I was getting closer to a yes. When I created Alibaba, I knew there would be difficulties, but I was prepared for them because failure was already an old acquaintance of mine. Over the years, I've realized that it's not just perseverance that counts, but also the humility to recognize that you make mistakes and need to improve. That's why I always say that I'm writing the book Alibaba and the 1001 Mistakes. This is to show the world that every great victory was preceded by several failures. Without these mistakes, Alibaba would not have become what it is. It's like I always say, we can't copy the success of others. Each path is unique, as is each mistake. The secret lies in creating something new from your own stumbles. In Alibaba's early years, we were up against huge competitors like eBay. They had everything to crush us, but we stood our ground. Why? Because we learned from our mistakes and innovated from them. Failure taught me to be resilient, to look forward, and not repeat the same mistakes. Innovation is often born from error, and this is something I still defend today. If you're afraid of making mistakes, you'll never discover what really works. If I could give one piece of advice to everyone reading this, I would say, embrace mistakes. They will shape who you are and the success you will achieve. I've failed more times than I can count, but I've never let those failures define me. In fact, they opened the door to my success. And as I always say, as long as you don't give up, you'll always be on the road to victory. I've always believed that the future is something we build, not something that just happens. I often say that there are no experts on the future, only on the past. As an entrepreneur, I have learned that it is essential to look ahead and see opportunities, even when everyone around you is immersed in fear or uncertainty. I remember many conversations with other global leaders where they told me that the future would be bleak because of technology. They said that artificial intelligence would eliminate jobs, that machines would take over everything. But I've always believed that despite the uncertainties, the future will be bright for those who believe in what they're building. Everyone said we should fear the impact of automation, but I always knew that machines will never replace people. We must create machines like people, I always say. I believe that the future belongs to those who are creative, resilient, and dare to believe in a better tomorrow. The key is to look beyond the immediate challenges and have a clear vision of where you want to go. If we focus only on the fear of the future, we end up trapped in it. But if we believe, we can.
Invest in the people, invest on the future, invest in SME. This is very important for China-Ukraine relationship. And I admire Ukraine for a long, long time. This is my first trip in Ukraine. You guys are so lucky. Beautiful land, intelligent man, beautiful women. How could in this world there was such great combination, right? And you know that the people, normally those people who handsome, they're not clever. People like me, ugly, but we know something, right? But you, this nation, such colorful history. So I think China, Ukraine would definitely work more. I'm thinking about inviting many of my business friends come to Ukraine. Opportunities here. And your system, your young government, and your people, and your land. Huge potential.
What kept me going was this confidence in the future. Instead of fearing what might come, I chose to focus on the possibilities. When Alibaba started, there was a lot of uncertainty, but I always believed that with innovation and faith in what we were doing, we could transform the market. Confidence in better days gives us the strength to continue, even when the path seems impossible. And that's what I want you to understand. Believing in the future is not just an act of optimism. It's a powerful strategy for personal and professional growth. Life is full of unforeseen events, and the future will always be uncertain. But what makes the difference is how we position ourselves in the face of this uncertainty. I always say that fear is an entrepreneur's prison. If you let it dominate you, you won't move forward. But if you believe in what you're building and have the courage to move forward, the future will be your ally, not your enemy. That's why I believe that true life transformation comes from a mindset of abundance and positivity. Believe in the future, work with passion, and you'll see how opportunities arise where before there was only doubt.
And you people, you believe the future. You are making the changes. As I said, the ministry, never in the world. Very few countries I go there, there is a ministry of innovation and love to change. And you never see a government that president 41 years old, prime minister 35 years old. A lot of ministers like 28. They don't have experience. Tell me who has experience of the future? Nobody has experience of the future. We think is that let's fight for the future.
When I started Alibaba, I knew that if we wanted to survive, we had to innovate. The market is unforgiving of those who stand still. And I've always believed that we can't copy the success of others. Each market, each company, each context is unique, and trying to replicate what has worked for others does not guarantee success. Innovation comes from understanding your customers' needs, listening to what they really need, and from that, creating something new. It was this approach that helped us overcome giants like eBay, which already dominated the market at the time. One of the most important lessons I learned was that innovation is risk. Innovation means getting out of your comfort zone and trying something new, even if it seems risky or even impossible. I remember when we decided to focus on e-commerce for small businesses, many people told us it was crazy, that the future of e-commerce lay with large corporations. But I always believed in the power of small businesses and young people. It was this commitment to innovation that set us apart from our competitors and made us grow rapidly. If we had followed what everyone else was doing, we would never have become what we are today. Innovation is more than just technology or new products. It's about a mindset. At its heart, innovation is about not being afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes are the best fertilizer for tomorrow's success, I always say. Every time we try something new, we have the chance of failing. But that's exactly where the power of innovation lies, in trial and error. In the beginning, we made a lot of mistakes, but this helped us understand our customers better and improve our processes. Innovation is a continuous journey where each mistake brings us closer to success. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that those who don't innovate end up being left behind. In today's fast-changing world, if you're not ahead, you're losing ground. That's why I've always encouraged my team to experiment, to test new ideas, and above all, not to be afraid to fail. Without innovation, there is no progress. And if there's one thing the future teaches us, it's that we need to be agile, creative, and above all, resilient. Innovating is the only way to guarantee that we will be ready for the challenges yet to come. Since the beginning of my career, I have always believed that the real investment should be in people. I see many leaders focusing only on technology, thinking that this is the only path to success. But in reality, it's people who move the world. I often say in meetings with other global leaders, invest in small businesses, in young people, and in education. These are the real engines of progress, whether in a company or a nation. At Alibaba, we don't just grow because of technology. We grow because we invest in people. I remember well when we started to grow rapidly. Everyone said we needed to focus on great technological innovations, but I always knew that the key to success lay in developing the talents around us. The greatest talents are already in your company. I always say, it's not about hiring the best on the market, but nurturing those who are already with you. Technology, no matter how advanced, will never replace the human capacity to dream, create, and adapt. The future is in the hands of resilient and innovative people. That's why at Alibaba we've made a huge effort to train our employees. We invest in training young talent and developing skills that machines can't replicate. We train our staff to be creative, empathetic, and collaborative because we know that's what really makes the difference. When you invest in people, you are building something that goes beyond numbers or growth metrics. You're creating a legacy, something that will thrive regardless of technological changes. And this is what many entrepreneurs forget. Long-term success is not just based on technology, but on people. When you empower your employees and create an environment where they can grow, innovation happens naturally. At the end of the day, human relationships are what move the world. That's why I've always believed that real progress only happens when we invest in people. Technology is just a tool. It's people who make the difference. Over the years, I've realized that the education system we have today is still stuck in the past. What we teach in schools can often already be done by machines. I always say that we need to teach our children to be creative, to think critically, and to develop skills that machines will never be able to replicate. The future belongs to those who can innovate, create, and lead, not those who just follow instructions. That's why I firmly believe that education needs to evolve. When I visited various universities around the world, one thing struck me. Many young people were trapped in a system that prepared them for the past, not the future. I remember my visit to Ukraine, where I saw bright young people, but they weren't being encouraged to think outside the box. I always say that education shouldn't be about memorizing facts, but about creating, building, and innovating. If we want to prepare the next generation for the future, we need an education system that values curiosity, collaboration, and creativity. At Alibaba, I have always sought to apply these principles. We create training programs focused on skills that go beyond the technical. Our goal has always been to prepare our employees to be independent thinkers, capable of solving problems in a creative and collaborative way. I believe that the future of education lies in human skills, things that machines will never be able to do, such as empathy, leadership, and teamwork. We need to put more emphasis on these skills if we want the next generation to be truly prepared for what lies ahead. The evolution of education is not just a question of curriculum, but of mindset. We need to inspire young people to think beyond the boundaries of what is possible. The world is changing rapidly, and those who are not ready for these changes will be left behind. I believe that the real impact of education lies in teaching people to be flexible and adaptable, to question the status quo and always look for new solutions. The future belongs to those who can think for themselves, and that's what we should invest in. My life is a long story of failures. Many people know me as the co-founder of Alibaba, but few know of the countless times I failed before achieving success. I've been rejected for more than 30 jobs, including KFC. It's hard to imagine someone being the only one to be rejected from an interview for a fast food chain, but that's what happened to me. And yet, I kept going. Because as I often say, failure is only final if you give up. Every time life knocked me down, I got back up more determined than ever. What I learned from these failures is that they are temporary. They can hurt, they can make us question our paths, but they are never permanent. When I founded Alibaba, I knew we would face many difficulties, but for me, the challenges were just part of the process. The mistakes I made throughout my life prepared me to deal with the challenges we faced at the start of the company. Every time we failed, I saw it as a learning opportunity, not the end of the line. The secret is to keep trying, even when everything seems to be against you. The failures I've experienced have shaped me. They not only taught me to be resilient, but also showed me the value of persistence. When I look back, I realize that the greatest lessons I learned came from my defeats, not my victories. Each failure I faced opened doors to new possibilities, and over time, these possibilities turned into successes. It's like I always say, Mistakes are the best fertilizer for tomorrow's success. The real victory lies in learning from what went wrong and using it to build a stronger future. I firmly believe that success is an inevitable consequence for those who refuse to give up. The world is full of stories of people who reached the top not because they avoided failure, but because they embraced it. The key is to understand that failure is temporary, while success, once achieved, is permanent. So if there's one thing I can take away as a lesson, it's this: failure is part of the process. Keep moving forward, learning, adjusting course. Success will come sooner or later to those who never give up on their dreams. People sometimes ask me if I regret having created a company as big as Alibaba. I always reply that if I could start again, I might try to keep the company smaller. The truth is that big problems come with big companies. The bigger you grow, the greater the responsibilities. I remember when Alibaba started to expand rapidly, and I suddenly realized that it wasn't just a question of running a company, but of looking after thousands of employees, millions of customers, and maintaining balance in an increasingly complex structure. Rapid growth brought challenges I had never imagined. The need to make quick decisions, often under pressure, became routine. As we grew, so did the complexity of managing the company culture and ensuring that our values were not lost in the process. I learned that success and growth come at a cost, and that cost usually involves more stress and challenges. The real challenge, however, is not just in growing, but in keeping the essence and mission of the company intact, even when things get huge. But at the end of the day, I believe that the size of the company doesn't define its success. What really matters is the impact you're having on people's lives, whether they are your employees, customers, or society as a whole. Growing is good, but we must never lose sight of what is most important: taking care of the people who helped us get there. As I often say, a good company doesn't need to be huge. It needs to take good care of its employees, customers, and society. Growing brings challenges, but also the opportunity to do something really great. At the beginning of Alibaba, I made the mistake of believing that experienced executives from big companies would be the key to our rapid growth. I thought that by bringing in people with great CVs, we could overcome the challenges of an emerging company. However, I soon realized that these people, despite their experience, were not prepared for the pace and innovation that a startup like ours required. I learned the hard way that experience is not always synonymous with success in an innovative environment. Over time, I changed my approach. I've come to believe that the most important thing is to hire people who can become leaders in the future, who have the ability to grow along with the company. I often say that you should hire people who can become your boss in 5 years. It's not just about technical skills or an impressive CV, but attitude, passion, and the ability to adapt quickly to change. The right people will learn what it takes, and that's something that experience alone can't guarantee. This focus on hiring smart and visionary people rather than just experienced ones has been key to Alibaba's success. When you invest in people who believe in the company's vision and are willing to learn and evolve, you build a strong, cohesive team. The lesson I took away from this is clear. Great companies are not just made up of great CVs, but of great people who have the emotional intelligence and mindset to lead and innovate in times of uncertainty. Many people ask me about work-life balance. The truth is that for me, if you love what you do, you're never really working. The famous 9-9-96 culture, working from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 6 days a week, has become a symbol of how we live at Alibaba. To some, this may seem extreme, but I've always believed that when you're passionate about what you do, work becomes a natural extension of your life. If you hate your job, even a few hours a day will seem like torture. However, I can't deny that this approach has its complexities. The challenge is to ensure that this passion for work doesn't suck up all your energy and affect your personal life. Working hard is important, but true balance comes from finding satisfaction in every aspect of life, be it work, personal relationships, or moments of rest. I always tell my employees that while dedication is necessary, you need to take care of yourself to keep your mind sharp and your creativity flowing. Balancing this can be difficult, but it is essential for the longevity of any career or company. I've learned over time that balance is not a rigid rule. Everyone finds their own way of balancing work and life. The important thing is not to get carried away by a routine that sucks the passion out of you. If you find true purpose in what you do, then work blends with life in a way that you're not just surviving, but really enjoying every moment. And in the end, that's the real balance. Doing what you love without neglecting the other things that matter. Since the beginning of Alibaba, I've always believed that the true potential of e-commerce lies in small businesses. Many leaders focus on large corporations, but for me, small businesses are the backbone of any economy. That's why our mission, right from the start, was to help small businesses enter the digital world and connect with the global market. Today, more than 60 million companies depend on our platform to survive. And this is a reflection of how small businesses have great opportunities in the modern world. Small businesses have an agility and capacity for innovation that large corporations often lose as they grow. They can adapt quickly to market changes, which gives them a competitive edge. I believe that the future belongs to these small companies, which can respond more quickly and creatively to challenges. When I look at Alibaba's growth, I see that our greatest strength has always been in supporting and empowering these smaller entrepreneurs. It's like I always say, invest in small businesses, in young people, and in education. That's what really drives progress. The true potential of small businesses lies not only in what they can do today, but in the impact they can generate tomorrow. By investing in them, we are strengthening the foundations of the global economy and creating an environment where innovation can thrive. Small companies can become large over time, but more importantly, they can retain their innovative and agile spirit. This makes them an essential pillar for the future of the global market. I have always believed that the future of education is not just about learning facts or acquiring technical knowledge. I believe we should focus on teaching human skills, those that machines will never be able to replicate. Creativity, empathy, collaboration, and critical thinking are the real skills that will define the future. Technology can do many things, but there is something deeply human about creating, leading, and dreaming. These are the skills we need to nurture in the next generations if we want to prepare them for the uncertain and dynamic future that lies ahead. In the past, education prepared people for repetitive jobs, but that era has passed. Today, machines can do many of these tasks efficiently. We therefore need to teach our children and young people to be innovative and adaptable. I believe that the key to success in the age of artificial intelligence lies in focusing on developing the emotional and social skills that make us unique. As I always say, we need to teach our children to be creative and collaborative because it is these skills that will define success in the future. The role of education should be to transform the way we see the world and connect with each other. Technical knowledge is important, but without the ability to think creatively and work together, it becomes limited. We need to prepare our young people to lead, to solve complex problems, and above all, to create a future where machines are our allies, not our competitors. If we invest in human skills, we will be creating a world where technology and humanity work together for a brighter future. A common mistake I see many entrepreneurs make is thinking that they need to beat the competition at any cost. For me, this is not the path to success. At Alibaba, we have always adopted a different philosophy, to grow together alongside our partners and competitors. I believe that the success of one company doesn't have to mean the failure of another. In fact, the business world has room for everyone to thrive, as long as there is collaboration and mutual respect. Rather than seeing our competitors as enemies, I prefer to see them as a learning opportunity. Often, the companies that compete with us have valuable insights that can help us grow even more. The collaborative ecosystem we've created at Alibaba has allowed us to thrive without the need to eliminate the competition. This mindset gives us the chance to grow sustainably by helping other companies develop along with us. At the end of the day, true success comes when everyone thrives. If you're constantly trying to beat others, you miss out on the opportunity to learn from them and grow in a healthy way. The business world is vast, and there are many opportunities waiting for those who know how to collaborate. By building bridges instead of barriers, we create an environment where everyone can benefit, and that, to me, is the essence of a successful ecosystem. People are often afraid of technology. They are afraid that machines will take their jobs or that artificial intelligence will replace human labor. However, I always say that technology should be our ally, not our enemy. The technological revolution is not something to be feared, but something we should embrace and use to improve our lives. I believe that in the future, collaboration between humans and machines will be the key to success. At Alibaba, we have always believed that artificial intelligence and other technological innovations will not replace humans, but will help us do our jobs more efficiently. Machines can perform repetitive tasks, while we humans can focus on creating, innovating, and leading. The future belongs to those who see technology as a strategic partner, not a threat. Over the years, I've seen many companies hesitate to adopt new technologies for fear of losing control. But the reality is that those who embrace change and see technology as an ally will have an advantage in the digital world. True innovation comes when we combine the best of technology with human skills, creating a collaborative environment that drives productivity and innovation. My career is full of failures. I remember being rejected from 30 jobs, including one at KFC, and having failed when trying to open a translation agency and a Yellow Pages business. At 35, I still hadn't experienced what many would call success. However, these failures were, in a way, my greatest school. They prepared me for the challenges I faced when founding Alibaba, and without them, I might never have achieved the success I have today. What I have learned is that failure is not something to be feared, but embraced. Every mistake I've made along the way has taught me something valuable, something that has helped me build Alibaba. The real secret is to keep trying, no matter how many times you fail. It's like I always say, failure is only real if you give up. And giving up was never an option for me. Each defeat pushed me to keep going with greater strength and resilience. These failures have shaped the entrepreneur I am today. They taught me patience, resilience, and above all, to never give up on my dreams. Alibaba's success was not the result of a single great victory, but of a series of small failures that over time turned into great lessons. Failure, when accepted and understood, prepares the ground for true success. At the beginning of Alibaba, I made the mistake of hiring experienced executives from large companies, thinking that they would bring the necessary knowledge to help us grow faster. However, I soon realized that these people, although talented, didn't fit the culture of an innovative startup like ours. It was then that I realized that the real power lay in training our own team, developing internally those who were already committed to our vision. At Alibaba, we have adopted the philosophy of internal growth. We have always believed that the best leaders are those who grow with us, who share our values, and who deeply understand the company's culture. Instead of looking for stars from outside, we decided to invest in the continuous development of our employees, giving them the opportunity to become real leaders. This not only strengthened the company culture, but also ensured a cohesive and committed team. When you train your own team, you are building a solid foundation for the future of the company. People who grow within the organization understand its challenges, its vision, and most importantly, are aligned with its objectives. Investing in the development of your employees is not just a question of efficiency. It is the key to ensuring long-term success. Alibaba's rapid growth was undoubtedly one of the biggest challenges I faced. When we started expanding rapidly, the number of employees, customers, and responsibilities increased exponentially. Sometimes I wondered if it would have been better to keep the company smaller and more agile. Growing too fast can bring complications we never imagined, from management issues to maintaining the company culture. As I grew, I realized that I couldn't control everything. I had to learn to delegate and trust the people around me. I learned that the secret to dealing with rapid growth is to stay focused on what really matters: the company's values, the culture, and the mission that guide us. Even with the challenges that growth brought, I continued to trust in the team we had built and the principles that had brought us there. At the end of the day, growing too fast can be a problem, but it's also an opportunity to strengthen the company's foundations. If you can stay focused on what is essential, you can overcome the challenges and continue to grow in a sustainable way. I've learned that when growing fast, the real challenge lies in making sure you don't lose your identity in the process. Many of the most important decisions I've made in my career seemed insignificant at the time. I remember when I decided to focus on the internet, something that few in China understood in the 90s. At the time, many people told me it was a crazy idea. But that decision, which seemed small, ended up changing the course of my life and that of Alibaba. The truth is that the future is shaped by a series of small choices we make every day. These small decisions may seem irrelevant at the time, but over time, they accumulate and create a profound impact. When I look back, I realize that each choice, no matter how small, led me down a new path, opening doors I never imagined existed. Each step taken with courage and vision brought me closer to my goals, even when the decisions seemed insignificant. The important thing is to make these decisions with conviction and courage. We can't predict the future, but we can shape it with our daily choices. Never underestimate the power of a seemingly small decision. It can be the catalyst for something much bigger and more significant. Ever since I was young, I've always been curious. I wanted to understand how the world worked and what was to come. This curiosity led me to explore the world of the internet, something completely new and unknown in China in the 90s. I believe that curiosity is one of the greatest qualities of an entrepreneur, as it drives us to explore the unknown and ask questions that others wouldn't think to ask. Curiosity is what makes us question the status quo and look for better ways of doing things. If you are constantly asking yourself, what if, you are opening yourself up to new opportunities and possibilities that might otherwise go unnoticed. Innovation is born out of curiosity, the desire to discover something new and not being afraid to explore the unknown. Don't be afraid to ask questions, even if they seem simple or trivial. It is often this curiosity that leads us to great discoveries and breakthroughs. In the end, curiosity is the fuel of success because it keeps us moving, always searching, always learning, always growing. At Alibaba, we have always sought to create an environment where innovation is encouraged and where people are free to experiment. This means allowing mistakes to be made, because innovation only flourishes when there is room to fail and learn from mistakes. I believe that in order to build a truly innovative environment, you need to create a culture where the fear of making mistakes doesn't exist. I remember a time when one of our departments made a costly mistake on a project. Instead of punishing the team, I encouraged them to learn from the failure and keep trying. If you don't make room for error, you'll never create an environment where innovation can thrive. Failure is part of the innovation process, and it's important that everyone in the company understands this. When building an innovation environment, it is essential to give people the freedom to test new ideas and feel safe to make mistakes. Only in this way can we create truly innovative solutions and discover new paths to success. Innovation is born out of experimentation, and this is only possible in an environment where creativity is valued above fear.
Jack Ma, the visionary behind the Alibaba empire, is living proof that success rarely follows a straight line. Known for his innovative ideas and fearless vision of the future, Ma has built one of the largest e-commerce platforms in the world, but not without facing a series of failures along the way. Jack Ma believes that it was these failures that paved his path to success. Mistakes are the best fertilizer for tomorrow's success, as Jack Ma often says. In this video, we explore the most powerful lessons Jack Ma shares about innovation, education, and the true essence of success. Jack Ma taught us that the future belongs to those who dare to believe in their ideas, even when the outlook seems bleak. For Jack Ma, the key is to innovate continuously, and above all, not to try to copy the success models of others. He argues that real progress comes from investing in people and in the power of small businesses, pillars that he believes are crucial for any business to thrive. Follow our channel and immerse yourself in other incredible speeches by Jack Ma, with deep learnings and valuable insights. You'll discover how his personal experiences can transform the way you see failure, innovation, and success. Get ready for insights that can change the way you think about business and personal success. Now that you've learned Jack Ma's valuable lessons, the question that remains is, how are you going to apply this knowledge to your own life? Have you thought about turning your mistakes into opportunities for growth? Or maybe you're ready to start innovating and leading more effectively rather than just following what others are doing. Remember Jack Ma's teachings, true success doesn't come without challenges and difficult moments. What will define your future is the way you respond to these obstacles. Whenever you need a boost, watch this video again. These lessons are more than words. They are practical guides that can help you achieve your goals, whether in your career or in your personal projects. Don't be afraid to fail, to try something new, or to question what you think you know. The greatest transformations happen when you adopt a mindset of growth and determination. Before you leave, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to continue learning more about innovation, leadership, and personal growth. And stay tuned for our next video. How I Accepted Failure as Part of Success, Jack Ma motivational video, which will go even deeper into these ideas, offering insights that could change the way you look at the future, so don't miss it. Comment below on what inspired you most in this video and share your experiences. See you in the next video.